been through this before. You know what these are all about. These are mourning ribbons for remembering Marilyn. That anymore? Some people do it, and most don't. It's symbolic of the tear in the heart. People feel that she is gone. We can't open it up yet because we have to tear it. So we say a blessing. I ask you to repeat it after me. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Dayan.
Dayan.
Now take it and just tear it. Okay. You'll hear, yeah. You'll hear it tear. What we said is praise is the true judge. Praise God. We all have a time. Thanks to God for that. You want to wait for it till 11 o'clock? It's 5 of 11.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yeah.
Because,
I was telling Todd before you got here that he said it's the hottest one he's done in a few years.
We knew it would be difficult.
Just because it's so much cold without the snow cover. And there are a lot of cemeteries that don't do burials in the winter because of that.
So if you could, what would be?
No, we do. It's not that we couldn't. It's just it's harder and harder. We find a way to get it done. We use machinery now, but in the old days we did it with a pickaxe. It takes a lot longer. We may not be able to do it today. We might have needed it.
Unfortunately, this is on the road. I mean, if you're
Well, the other fortunate part is most of these here are full.
Yeah, he did most of the other major, but he started doing this before.
Emma?
Yes.
Hey, Emma.
Hi.
Love ya. Oh, how you doing?
Thank you.
Who's your mom?
Tamara, can you see it?
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Okay.
We're not muted yet.
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
He's at the gravesite.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be muted here in a minute.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I'll mute myself. Hello.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna mute.
So the Jewish people respond to death with the recitation of the three words that we just said. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, praise is the true judge. We also say Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehishem Adonai Mevarech. God has given and God has taken. Praise be the name of God. The time of mourning is a complicated time, of course, filled with many memories, both bitter and sweet. And we begin our service normally with a recitation of psalms and prayers, thus linking Marilyn's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. We are going to say a couple of blessings, a couple of psalms, and a couple of readings. I have a whole book of them, and I don't want to keep us out here until the end of time. I know you want to say some words as well, so let me begin. We begin with something that's very traditional, which is the 23rd Psalm. David, Adonai rohi lo hetzo, binos tesheyar bitzeni, al me menucho yenachaleni, nafshi yeshovei. Nafshi yeshovei, yancheni b'maglei tzedek leman shemo, gam ki elech begeitz almaves lo yirah, Ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha shivtecha umishantecha emo yenachamuni karo lefonai shulchan neged tzoreroi Dishanta Bashemen Roshi Kosi Rivaya Ato Vechesed Yedefuni Kol Yemei Chayai Vishavti Beveis Adonai Leorech Yamim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The words of Ecclesiastes is a time for everything, a season for everything. You've all heard that prayer. I'm not going to read it for you. Just understand that no matter when we think when someone is taken from us, it's too soon. 92 is too soon. Could it have been 94, 95? There's a season for everything. Marilyn's season has come. Don't know much about her. I knew you guys a little bit. I'm just old enough, we all grew up together, that I kind of knew of you, but not knew you as well as some might have. Some Richard. And I knew about your parents. And so I feel comfortable in reading this prayer called Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, because it describes, I think, who your mother was and grandmother. What a precious find is an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats of the bread of idleness. Her children come forth and bless her. Her husband praises her and said, "Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all." Charm is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. This is from the works of Ben Sira, a Greek philosopher who lived 2,000 years ago. We are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived and all who ever will be. Cry for the dead. Hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace and be consoled when the soul departs. Death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest is better than constant sickness. Let us not seek to understand what is too difficult for us, nor search for what is hidden, nor be preoccupied with what is beyond, for we have been shown more than we can comprehend. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, so are our few days in eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good reputation endures forever. Your family has a good reputation. comes from the mom, and of course from the dad. Did one of you want to speak first?
Sure.
You want to turn that?
Stay here.
Yeah, can you hear? Can you check and see if they can hear?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm not one to, I guess, wax poetic. It's not going to start today, but just kind of thinking about my mother, your grandmother, her life. I mean, clearly, I'm not going to wax poetic, but clearly, she started life and ended life, and it wasn't a straight line path. There's lots of detours along the way, and I think with my mother having, say, a difficult upbringing, things could have been a lot different throughout the years. And as I think about her and comments have been made over the years, and certainly the last couple of days, she did well. I mean, people say she had a warm heart, beautiful soul, always cared about people. I'm trying to think if I ever heard her really say anything negative about anybody. Certainly she got irritated with those that were around her for one reason or another, but she was genuinely a good person. And I think one of the sad things the last year or two, she was always one to send the birthday card, whatever it was to celebrate. I think she was the first. She might have been we should have copyrighted it. She was like the bag lady, putting gifts in bags. And I was like, why would you ever do that? And here we are today. Everyone puts them in bags. But I think my mother, especially based on a lot of the comments that were made recently, was genuinely a good person. We'll certainly miss her. We all love her.
It's interesting how when someone dies, we all start talking about that person and share all these personal memories. In fact, things you haven't thought about for quite a while.
Absolutely.
Yes. I know you wanted to say.
Well, I mean, it's nice to have everybody here and everybody.
Zoom.
But anyways, like Todd said, it's, we were very blessed. We miss her.
So the mom was known to be a person who had a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, everybody has their own belief system overall in terms of life begins and death, and certainly I think she's going to be on that dance floor with my father. So
I was speaking about her death to a friend of mine, Gary Kuchar.
yes,
And he says, I remember her when she would go on trips for happy sales with my father. Absolutely. He said they were always the life of the party. So it's nice to be remembered that way. Didn't need to say anything, but of course that's what came to mind for him. So, and I'm sure for many other people as well. So she'll be sadly missed by a lot of people beyond those that are sitting here, and for caregivers as well. So that was very, very nice of you to be so. Of course you were, and it's a very special blessing to have someone to give care to someone else at this stage of their life. It's a hard thing.
And I would say typical of my mother when a couple of times she fell out of bed. She was trying to escape the bed we had her caged into.
Yeah.
She'd figure a way to get out, and she'd be on the floor and not want to yell for help. She didn't want to disrupt the sleep of the caregiver. That was my mother.
Yeah. Always thinking of others. Anybody else want to share a thought or anything at all? I don't want to put you on the spot, but this is the time to.
I'll be happy to share something. I remember once my grandma was very determined to do whatever my grandma wanted to do, and at the time that she wanted to do it at her own speed, which I always appreciated. And I just remember one time asking my grandmother, "Why don't you go to Florida in the winter with, my Aunt Barbara and whoever else?" And she said, "Do I look like a migratory bird to you? I have my feet planted right here. That's where I'm going to stay." So I feel like the greatest blessing that she had was she was able to remain with the people that she loved the most in the place that she loved the most, which was around here in her family. So I will always be grateful for all the care that everyone has given her. And I'll miss her very much.
But she did go to Florida. Right.
They did.
Yeah.
On occasion, but not
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
not recently.
Well, So don't we all want to do what we want to do when we want to do it?
Oh, yeah.
So the fact is that she did, and that's great. I think that's a lesson for life, a lesson to be learned. Can't always do that, but it's nice to want to do it. Anybody else? We have one final prayer, and we're going to do a mitzvah, which is explained in a moment, and then we'll say the final mourner's kaddish together. El Malei Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Amatzei Menucha Nechona Tachas Kanfei Ashchina B'malos Kadoshim V'Torim Gizohar Akia Mazhirim Esen Nishmaz Aisha Hazot Shelcha Le'olamo B'Gan Eden Tehei Menuchaso Ono Bahal Rachamim Astirea B'Seisik Nefecha Le'olamim Utro B'Isra Chayim Es Nishmasa Adonai U'Nachalasa V'Sanuach B'Shalom HaMishkava V'Nomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Marilyn Jacobson, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that Marilyn find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up with the bond of life forever. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. We put those cards away for a moment. I'm going to ask you to do something. Of course, we have to cover her. It's a final mitzvah, the final thing that we can do. And this, the biggest mitzvah that we can do is do something for someone that can't, number one, thank us, and number two, can't repay us in any way. So this is our opportunity to show her that she's taught us right. And I would invite you to come up and take a shovelful of earth and put it on top of her. How we do it: first, the back of the shovel, like this. We put a little bit in, and we follow it up with a regular shovelful. We do it that way to show that we're reluctant to do this final mitzvah, but it has to be done. So I'll invite you to start.
Careful of the ice.
Yeah, everything's slippery up here. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. We have the cards now. We'll say the mourner's cottage together. Hebrew on one side, English on the other. Choose whichever makes sense for you. Begin together. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, v'ilma divrach yirtei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach, v'olam olol mei olmaya, v'yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpoar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shmei Dekudisha, V'richu, V'elam Miniko, V'irchata, V'shirata, V'ushbechata, V'nechamata, Da'amiran, V'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Olenu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imramav, V'ya'aseh Shalom, Olenu v'al kol Yisrael in the root remain. May you go in peace and may you be comforted among the mourners of Israel and Jerusalem. And we wish you nothing but peace as you recover from this event in your life. Do you want to bring this Zoom over? Maybe you'd like to share a couple of minutes with the people on Zoom?
Sure.
Hey, Sheila,
Hi, children.
Hi.
get everybody on board that they all go.
Hi, Julie. Let's see.
Hi, sweetie. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Guys.
All right, there's everyone.
I just want to say that she had a life well lived. And, you know, it makes us teary and sad for her to be gone, but I'm happy for her to be at peace and with your dad. I said to my kids, I could imagine him greeting her with his hands outstretched to come dance. You know, it's I say too, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And she had great longevity, and you know, we'll miss her to see her in person, but she'll always be in our hearts.
Thanks,
Well
Julie.
said. Love you guys.
I love you all.
Bring it around.
Everyone's shy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad you could do it this way for us to be with you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Julie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, honey.
We're going to move these two vehicles out of the way so you can go straight out.
Great.
Just watch when you turn the corners, tight corner. I don't know if you get the car. We're in it.
Yeah.
And we're just going to circle back behind you and stay here until you finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Richard, good luck. White storm.
I go to Bruno.
All right, thank you.
All right. What are you going to do now? I'm going to. Oh, really? All right, take care. All right, bye-bye. Okay, let me use my car.